Studies show that nearly 33% of veterans who are eligible for a VA loan end up using a conventional loan instead. Some of them may have a good reason, but most of them probably had a misconception. And misconceptions when you're buying a house cost real money. Today, we're going over the 10 most costly mistakes that military home buyers make with their VA loan, so you can see them coming from a mile away. Now, before we get into the list, I want to say this. I've sat across from sharp, decorated, and highly trained veterans who walked into the home buying process and made every single one of these mistakes. This is not about being uninformed. It's about nobody giving you the right information at the right time. And that's what this masterclass is for. So let's get into it. Mistake number 1, not checking your COE before you start house shopping. Your certificate of eligibility confirms that you actually have the benefit. Most of the time, it can be pulled from the VA system in about 30 seconds. However, there are some times where there could be an issue, whether there's a problem with your discharge paperwork, a records discrepancy, or just something outstanding that still needs to be resolved. You don't want to find that out after you've already fallen in love with the house, so make sure you're pulling it early. Mistake number 2, getting pre-qualified instead of getting pre-approved. Pre-qualification is just a lender looking at what you told them and saying, sounds about right. However, a pre-approval is a lender actually verifying everything, your income, your assets, your credit, and your eligibility, and putting something in writing that gives you bargaining power. In a competitive market, sellers know the difference, and an offer backed by a pre-approval letter carries much more weight than an offer with a pre-qualification. Mistake number 3, shopping for a rate before you're actually ready to act. Rate shopping is a smart strategy. However, rate shopping 6 months before you're actually buying is just normal. Rates move up and down every day. A rate you locked in on a Tuesday in February is going to mean absolutely nothing in August. Get your financial picture clean. Get serious about your timeline, then shop the rates in that order. Mistake number 4, using a lender who doesn't know VA loans. And this is a big one because VA loans have rules that don't exist on conventional loans. There's non-allowable fees, there's occupancy requirements, the appraisal process is different, and you have to calculate entitlement. A lender who maybe does 1 or 2 VA loans a year is just learning on your file. You deserve someone who does this every day, not someone who just figures it out as they go. And this is where you want to throw a flag on the play, because if you ask your lender how the VA funding fee works, and they have to go onto Google and look it up, then that's just information as to who you should be working. So make sure you act on it. Mistake number 5, working with a real estate agent who doesn't understand VA appraisals. The VA appraisal is not the same as a conventional appraisal. VA appraisals are going to include things like the minimum property requirement, and if your agent doesn't understand them, then they're going to steer you towards properties that might not clear, or worse, they're going to push you to waive protections that you're entitled to keep under the VA home loan program. Mistake number 6, letting someone talk you out of the VA loan because sellers won't accept it. This myth has been circulating for years and years and years, and it's costing veterans money every single day. Sellers accept VA offers every single day. Heck, they've done it twice for me personally. Now, the issue is usually how the offer is structured, not the type of loan that's being used. A well-crafted VA offer is competitive. However, a poorly explained one is not. And that's the problem. It's not a program problem, it's a people problem. And mistake number 7, making large financial moves after pre-approval. And this goes just beyond VA loans. This is any type of loan. If you buy a new car, a new credit card, switch jobs, or just start moving money around between accounts without documentation as to where that came from, any of these can change your debt to income ratio, drop your credit score, or raise a red flag to the underwriter. The period between pre-approval and closing is not the time to reorganize your financial life. Lock it down and wait until you're in your home. Mistake number 8, not negotiating seller concessions. The VA loan allows sellers to pay up to 4% of the home's value in concessions on top of your standard closing costs. So that can cover things like your funding fee, your prepaid taxes and insurance, and even can cover debt payoff to help you qualify. A lot of buyers end up leaving that on the table because nobody told them to ask for it or somebody misunderstood how it actually works. Mistake number 9, skipping the home inspection because the VA appraisal already happened. The VA appraisal checks minimum property requirements. It's not a full home inspection. The VA appraiser is not going to tell you that the HVAC unit is 15 years old. that the roof only has about 2 years left, or that the crawl space has a moisture problem. Get the inspection every time with no exception. And mistake number 10, not understanding what happens to your entitlement after you close. Veterans use the VA loan, they sell the house, and then they assume the benefit is going to reset automatically. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. It depends on whether the entitlement was formally restored. And some veterans don't realize that they can even have 2 VA loans at the same time under the right conditions. Not knowing how your entitlement works after the first loan is a mistake that limits you on what you can do on the second one. We cover this in depth in the entitlement episode, and I'll link it on the screen. So there's your 10 mistakes with the VA loan. Certificate of eligibility, pre-approval, not pre-qual, time your rate shopping, find a lender who knows VA loans, get a VA savvy agent, don't let anybody talk you off your benefit, freeze your finances after pre-approval, negotiate those concessions, get the home inspection, and understand your entitlement before and after closing. Which one of these have you already bumped into in the process? Drop it in the comments. I want to know what's actually tripping people up out there. I'm William Ware, the Loan Caddy. Play smart, and I'll see you on the next tee.